What's next Monday? $5?
Payday.
Obviously, it's payday.
Shh. So we're going to talk about sampling. The official name of this unit is data acquisition. Sampling's the same thing, it's just a shortened version. We're going to acquire data. In fact, it's our first thing. Facts and statistics collected together for reference or analysis. It's data.
Oh, wait.
Now you can say data or you can say data. It's like tomato, tomato. If you get into I've taken statistics in a couple different colleges, and it's funny, I'll have one professor swear that you say it this way, and another get angry and say you say it this way. To me, it doesn't matter. Data, data. Yeah, exactly. So, that is facts. Now, data, we collected some data, right? I have some facts about the age of these two tables, don't I? I could collect data by counting the number of girls in here versus boys. That's data.
Only one?
Tyler, focus. Focus. Okay. What is the sum of items in a set of data divided by the number of items?
Sample.
We call it the mean.
Mean.
What's another word for mean?
Average.
Average.
A bully. Oh, we're writing.
Young men, if you tell your girlfriend she's average, she will be mean.
I would slap the...
Like I said, the minute you told your girlfriend she's average, she will be mean. So average and mean the same thing. You take the whole set and you divide it. So I've got some numbers up here. I wish I had them for the camera. So I've got 14, 14, 15, 13, 14, 14. How would I find the mean of these numbers?
The only one.
You add them...
The average.
Yeah, you add them all together and then divide them by how many there are.
How many are there?
There's 6.
All right, so you guys add all these numbers together and divide by 6. You're supposed to have a calculator with you at all times. Add these together and divide by 6.
I need to go get a... This is easy. I grabbed my computer.
I know it.
Hold on.
Wait, get hold on.
There's 1.5.
I didn't say blurt it out.
Blurter.
Catherine, what'd you get?
Wait, what are we doing?
How many numbers are there?
6.
So the mean is the average of all these numbers, which is these numbers added together divided by the number. What'd you get? 14. 14 flat?
Yes.
14 flat.
14 flat.
So our mean or our average is 14. Okay, let's go on. The next one says the average distance between each data value and the mean.
Median.
We call this the mean absolute
Value.
Meaning head. You know he's video.
deviation.
Every time you write a capital D or B, I want to do it the opposite way.
I'm sorry. We call it the mean absolute deviation. And it's the average distance between each value and the mean.
No, I don't know. It just confused me.
Okay, get this written down.
It is right now.
So, we got a mean here that's 14, right? So we're going to find the mean absolute deviation of our numbers. What we're going to do is find out how far off each number is from the mean. So how far is 14 off from 14?
None.
0.
Nada.
So 14 from 14 is?
0.
15?
1.
13.
1. 0. 0.
Now we add all these together, which is 2, and we divide by the total amount of numbers.
2 divided by 6.
So
3.
2 divided by 6. Do it on your calculator. 2 divided by 6.
1/3. Sorry.
Do not blurt.
Wow, I see.
You should know this one. What do you got, Landon?
0.3 repeat.
Landon, what you got?
2/3.
No.
No, it's 1.
What? 1/3.
0.3 repeating.
0.3 repeating. So the mean absolute deviation is 0.3 repeating, which is a very small, because these numbers were all really close together, weren't they? The larger the mean absolute deviation, the more spread out the numbers. If, let's say I did age, and I found the mean age was 14, but the MAD was 6.5. What would that tell you about the people I selected?
What does that say?
What does what say?
Oh,
Is that D? That's deviation.
D.
I thought it was.
You need to fix your D.
So, if my MAD is 6.5, that means there's a big spread in the numbers, doesn't it? I'm using a lot of people. Whereas with a mean absolute deviation of 0.3, there's hardly any variation. Okay, if you can't eat your ice without shaking, then you won't eat ice. Okay? So let's move on.
Wait. Dev. All I see is Dev and then A-T-I-O-N.
Yeah.
Deviation.
It's I-A-T-I-O-N.
Okay. The next one says a measure used to describe the middle of a data set. That's called a measure of center. There are several measures of center. One of them we just talked about. What was it? Looking for the middle of the data. What's one of the ways we just talked about that? The mean. What are the other two common measures of center? Whoops, that should not be mean.
Median.
Median
Mode.
and mode.
Let's go slave.
Yeah, those are the three most common measures of center. The mean, the median, and the mode. They're the three things we use to kind of tell what's in the middle. She's up here. Okay. Let's talk about, everyone there so far?
Yes.
Statistics that describe the amount of difference in spread in a data set to include variance, standard deviation, and standard error of the mean.
Data statistics.
These are called measures of variability. Or measures of variance, if you ever see it that way written. Measures of variability.
Say that 5 times fast.
Nope. So we've already talked about one of the measures of variability. It's that thing that tells us how much does the data differentiate.
2.
What did we use to find a measure of variability?
We divided.
What was it called?
Mode, median.
No. The mean absolute deviation.
Mad.
There's a couple other that you guys know. Range
I don't know that.
and spread. These are pretty common measures of variability. They tell us how much different it is. What does range tell us?
Range shows how far.
So what is the range of our numbers up here?
15 to 13.
2.
Yeah, or 13 to 15. Most people do it, but 15 to 13 works. Now the spread is 2.
2.
The spread is the difference. The range is that number 13 to 15.
Why would the spread be only 2?
Because
it's
15 minus 13 is?
2.
That's the whole spread.
Oh, my bad.
All right. The middle number or mean of two middle numbers in an order set of data. What's the absolute, put your chair down. What's the absolute middle number called?
Median.
The median. So for the median, we take all the numbers and line them up. So here I got these numbers. What's the earliest one? What's the smallest
13.
one? 13.
But wouldn't that not work?
And then what else? 14, 14, 14, 14, 50.
You can do a dot plot.
So the median is the middle number. I'm not sure what's going on that you all are giggling
That
about,
wouldn't work.
but cease.
Because it's no
It wasn't me this time.
Okay. Now, if you come between two numbers, like I got 14 and 14, you add them together and get the average, but since they're the same number, the median for our data set is 14.
Only because
Yes.
it's a number.
Yes, some of this is repeat.
I remember this from last year because I passed this unit.
All right. The number or numbers that occur most frequently. What do we call that?
Mode.
The mode. So in our data set, what number occurs most frequently?
14.
14. It occurs 4 times. Right?
Have we done this?
Yes, 7th grade.
Like using the same vocabulary word?
Yes.
I didn't like 7th
I was
grade math.
thinking I'm gonna go.
That means this test is going to be beautiful, right? You got a couple of new ones.
There is no test.
Number 8. Shh. The entire group of objects or individuals considered for a survey is called the
Sample.
population.
Population.
The population is the entire group of objects. The population of this room is all of us.
I bet you I can tell you how many of those grades are in that
No,
grade.
there's
group.
like 24 of us in here.
25.
How many graders are in there?
I'd like to include myself in a population because
No,
I'm still in the room.
but our random one gives
And the 3 cockroaches hiding in the closet. No.
random is the next one.
Okay, so a population is everything. The population of the United States is roughly 350 million people and growing.
Billion.
Okay? That's the whole population. Let's talk about the next one. A sample in which each individual or object in the entire population has an equal chance of being selected.
Male.
A random sample. I'm proud you guys remembered this. It makes me feel good about myself.
Not really.
Hey, let me enjoy my feeling good about myself.
I'm saying I don't remember any of this.
So,
If you don't tell us, then you can enjoy it.
now, let's talk about what I did. I came in the room when we started this lesson. I picked these 2 tables. Is that a sample?
No, it's a random sample.
Is a sample is part of the population, right? We're about to go into that. Is these 2 tables a sample?
Yes.
Are they random?
Yes, they are. Because you picked them randomly.
Whoa!
Random.
If you think it's random, put your hand in the air. All right, Mary, why do you think it was random?
Because usually when like it's selective, you like pick it out from a name or not like you pick
Like,
it out like you draw
specific.
it and then you.
Did I do that here?
No, you said I want this table and this table.
So you're saying,
Oh wait, no, I had that backwards. I
okay.
had that backwards.
Somebody else who thinks it's a random sample.
Why did you
It's
pick
random
them?
because you're not like picking it yourself. Like you just randomly.
Ramsey, who picked who sits at these tables?
You.
picked it yourself. So it just.
Wait, what was the
I
question?
had
But you
it
picked those
wrong.
2 tables.
My bad.
So
Him picking the tables is not random. He specifically did it.
I did it very specifically.
And he pointed
So a random sample means everybody has an equal chance. Now, if I didn't have assigned tables, and I said to myself, when class starts, I'll pick these 2 tables. That would be random because everyone had a chance to sit down there,
That
right?
makes no sense.
Why does that make no
Because you
sense?
specifically picked those 2 tables.
But I did it beforehand and I didn't tell you guys.
Yes, but,
But you still
assigned
specifically
us-
You're a
liar.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
This is bothering
Okay, Omar,
I hate like
before you get into the long arguments which you're starting.
Mr.
Wheeler, did you pick it because there was like a big
No,
numbers?
let's say I walked into class and I knew that I was going to have this lesson.
Uh-huh.
Are you working for the devil?
And I walked in this class and I said, I'm going to have this lesson and I don't have assigned seats. And I say, when people come in, I'm going to pick these 2 tables. Whoever sits at them, that's the data I'm going to use.
That's random.
Was it random?
Yes.
Did everyone have a chance to sit at those 2 tables?
I did not know.
That's a random sample. Another way, a better way, would be to put all your names in a hat and draw 6
Oh,
out.
so you're talking
Do you know
about
how
the
old
table,
we
not
are?
the people.
Huh?
Do you know how old all of us are?
Yes.
How old
How old am I?
Let's stick with the lesson, okay?
That's a little creepy. I don't
So that's random.
Ring, 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 ring.
Not like
Carly, you want to answer that, please?
Ring, 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 ring.
All right.
I want to answer.
Oh, I hit my hand.
I'm answering it next. Oh, where did that go? Next time I'm answering it. What are you doing?
me? I'm blowing my nose. Is that okay?
No.
Haley, you're leaving.
No, I don't want to.
Bye, Haley.
Okay. Let's go on to the next one.
With you.
Shh. Let her go. Let's pay attention. The difference between the greatest and least values in a data set is called the
Different.
range.
Why? You're
You didn't have to make that so dramatic. Yes, I do.
Kirsten. Kirsten.
I know 12.
All right. What is the frequency of a data value or range of...
It's a happy birthday. That's the thing.
What is the frequency of a data value or range of data values divided by the total numbers?
I don't know.
The amount.
Why are you looking at me? I can do it around
What'd you say?
Oh, in goodness.
Listen to me, ladies, up front here. If you don't have something nice to say, shut the heck up.
Shots just got fired.
I forgot. Now I forgot the word here. My brain has now left me.
I apologize to all you people watching this. Make sure to follow my Instagram account.
Omar, stop talking.
I'm talking to the viewers.
This is all going to be on the video.
Can I do an ASMR? You post this on YouTube.
What does that mean?
Hi, Mom. I
Omar Costa, the
I'm sorry.
shout out to.
That's what I was going to say.
Thank you. All right. I forgot my word there. Okay. Cease the conversations.
I know 12.
Okay.
Talking.
I wasn't talking to you then.
Why are you looking at me?
Because the guy right behind you was having the conversation.
The guy. That's a joke. I'm kidding. It was a joke. It was a joke, and he knows it was.
All right. The frequency. We call that the relative frequency. The relative frequency. It is the frequency of the data value range of the frequency of a data value or range of data values divided by the total number of data values in the set. So, if you speak again, I'll have you go to the office. Okay. So let's look at our data up here.
You can't help but laugh.
So how many pieces of data did we get? How many pieces?
3, 4, 5, 6.
6. What is the relative frequency of the age 14?
2,
4.
4 out of 6, which is 2/3 or 0.6. That is the relative frequency that the age 14 applied. For the others, it's 1 out of 6, right?
Correct.
The last one, a part of the population is called a sample.
Ha.
Yeah, can I answer the question?
Now let's talk about a sample versus a random sample. So we're all in this in the class. If I pick all the girls in this class, is that a sample?
Yes. No. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Is it a sample? Is just a part of a population. Is it a random sample?
No.
No, because I specified it.
Yes.
Is it a good sample?
Yes.
Because there's more girls than boys.
It's not a good sample anyway. If I asked what's your favorite movie and I picked all the guys in this room, it would not reference the whole sample, right?
Cease the talking.
Okay. Let's say I decide we get some money and I'm going to take the whole class to the movies.
Yay! You would be my favorite teacher.
And I asked Mackenzie what movie we should go see. Is it a sample?
No. Yes, it is because it's a part.
Is Mackenzie part of the class?
Yes.
Is it a random sample?
No. You specified.
Turn around, Kaylin. Landon, stick with this conversation. So, I picked Mackenzie. Is it a random sample?
No. No, it's not.
No.
No, it's not.
No, it's not a random sample.
Let's say I say we're going to go to a movie, and I put all your names into a hat, and I draw out
That is a
5.
random sample.
Is it random?
Yes.
Is it a good sample?
Yes.
It's 1/5 of the class.
Anyone can get picked.
It's 1/5 of the class. That's pretty good. How about if I want to find out in the United States how fast the speed limit should be? There are 350 plus Americans, and I pick 100 who live in West Texas.
A what?
I find 100 people living in West Texas, and I say, what should the speed limit be?
Not a good.
Is it a sample?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it a random sample?
No.
Why?
Because it's limited to be like
Because I. Because I only picked here, and the United States is a big place, including Alaska, Hawaii, right? Now let's say I picked 1 million people randomly across the United States.
Yep.
Yes.
Is it a sample?
Yeah.
Is it a random sample?
Yes.
Is 1 million a good comparative sample for over 350 million people?
Yes.
That one would be easy to argue, but it's such a huge number,
Anybody
it's
can pick.
probably going to work, right?
Hey, you know you're still videotaping?
Yes, I do.
Oh, my bad. Hey, it's 21 minutes long.
It is.
Hey,
So- Is 1 million a good sample?
No.
Why not?
Wait. No.
Not too many people.
Is it really? If there are 350 plus million people in the United States, and I pick 1 million, is that what percent? That's not even a percent, right? I'd have to pick 35 million people to get 1% of the population.
Serious?
Yes.
Wait, what'd you say?
So
So-
that means if 99% of all
And I
people
can't
don't
even
like you, 35 million people still like you.
Yes. So there's a good way to look at
Hey,
that.
you found your wedding ring.
Yeah, I found one. Yes.
People love
All right. So we're gonna look at data acquisition. Tomorrow we'll be going into how to determine mean absolute deviation. Let me go ahead and stop this video, and then I'll